Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vidita Khila Shastra Sudha Jaladhe. Together, yeah. Vidita Khila Shastra Sudha Jaladhe Mahitopanishad Thitartha Nidhe Hridaye Kalaye Vimalan Charanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Karuna Varunalaya Palaya Mam Bhava Sagara Dukha Viduna Hridam Rachaya Khila Darshana Tattva Vidam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Ta Janata Sukhita Bhavita Nija Bodha Vicharana Charumate Kalayeshwara Jiva Viveka Vidam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava eva bhavaniti me nitaram Bhava eva bhavaniti me nitaram Samajayata chetasi kautukita Samajayasa chetasi kautukita Mama varaya moha mahajaladhim Mama varaya moha mahajaladhim Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava Shankara Deshikame Sharanam. So now we know how all the people in the whole world will be made happy forever. Bhavata, by Adi Shankara, by you. How is that? Because all of them will come. They will be born generation after generation. They won't find the body that is you. They won't find the mind that is you, because the mind and the body will have long gone. But they will find the body of knowledge that you have so nicely expounded and codified, which is the truth of all of them, which is the truth of everyone. Finding which, they will definitely be made happy. This is the happiness he's talking about. Because that same thing, he says, please do this for me. Kalaya Ishvara Jiva Vivekavit. Ishvara Jiva Vivekavidam Mam Kalaya. Make me the one who knows the spoof, who can discern the spoof, which keeps a distance between Ishvara and myself as the Jiva. And what is that spoof? Maya Shakti and all this self-ignorance. And we saw that yesterday. Vikshepa, Avarna, these Shaktis. And what because of which I don't know my own nature. I take myself to be what I am not. And what I am is yet to be discovered. And until I discover that, until people discover that, there will be some kind of sorrow or another. Some sorrow or another will be there. Because this is how samsara progresses. Some complaints will be there because the body is taken to be real. Mind is taken to be real. Senses are taken to be real. whatever happens is taken to be real. Jivatvam, the fact that one is in this finite body, mind, sense complex is taken to be real. And with that one identifies. And Ishvaratvam, the fact that there is such a being called Ishvara and this being is far away from me, that is taken to be real. So there is alienation. Alienation causes fear, causes sorrow, causes loneliness, and all these things are, staple diet of the jiva for generations after generations until they discover you. Not you, the body, but you, the body of knowledge that has been so nicely expounded, the body of knowledge, which is the Upanishads, that has been so wonderfully expounded by you and given to me. And this kind of teaching that you embody, people will find. He is giving a prophecy. People will connect to that, and people will definitely be made happy, although it is impossible for anyone to make anyone else happy. Just not possible at all. But here people will definitely be made happy. Then, this is a very nice third verse. In the fourth verse, Bhavaha eva bhavan. Nice alliterative words. Bhava means Bhagavan, Ishvara, the one that is manifest in the form of this earth, the one that is manifest in the form of this whole creation. Why just the earth? The whole creation. Bhava. The one that makes things happen. Bhava. The one, if you don't understand correctly, you think, it is samsara. You think of everything coming to an end and you get terrified. That is also bhava. So you are bhavan, you. Bhavan means you. Bhavan, bhavaha eva. You are nothing but Lord Shiva. Just like your name, Shankara suggests, you are nothing but an incarnation of Lord Shiva. And this is this is my conviction. Bhavaha eva bhavan. That visarga goes away because of a sandhi rule. So it is actually bhavaha eva bhavan. So bhava eva bhavan iti, this iti means in this manner, me nitaram. Nitaram means always. Bhavaha eva bhavan iti me nitaram. Belief, conviction, shraddha, because of shraddha. And as I said, even before we have talked about this, how to make the most of the knowledge and of the teaching situation. There is the attempt to invoke Bhagavan as the teacher or in the teacher, because in this way the relationship is kept pure and is not vitiated by the exigencies of day-to-day living. There is a reason for that. It's not that the Guru has a swollen head and wants to be looked upon as Ishvara. No Guru will say that. And it's not, and it's also not that the student is so lowly that you have to look at Guru as Ishvara. No. The student is doing themselves a favor by looking at the Guru, looking upon the Guru as Ishvara, because there is total identity between the subject matter of the knowledge and between Brahman and the Guru, because Guru happens to be Brahman. And seeing them as identical helps me to see myself as identical to them. That is the idea. That is why we have in the tradition Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Because the knowledge comes from a source that is infallible. Veda is infallible and Vedanta is infallible. And that which is infallible is Bhagavan. And to keep that Shraddha going and to understand that, we have this, a tactical device This is a tactical device. It's a pedagogical device to increase the Shraddha and quicken the pace in which the knowledge is assimilated. Otherwise, what would take a long time is quickened as soon as this pedagogical device is adopted. So, Bhavaha eva Bhavan. So, is it enough to look upon the Guru as Bhagavan one time? No, that's why he says Nitaram, always. Unflinching, unwavering devotion, unwavering belief and Shraddha that the Guru is one with Bhagavan. Why? Because everything is one with Bhagavan. I am one with Bhagavan also, but at first it is easier to see the Guru as one with Bhagavan, and as I am still in the process of knowing. So, Bhavaha eva Bhavan iti me nitaram. Because of this, Samajayata was born, Chetasi, in the heart. Kautukita, from the root verb kut. Kautukita. Kautukita means wonder. I don't even know how to translate. Wonder or some kind of a, feeling of awe, wonder. So, Samajayata. So, because of this vision, I look upon you as non-separate from Bhagavan. And how is that possible? Thinking about this itself, my heart is filled, my heart opens, my heart blossoms and is filled with a sense of wonder. Kautukita. Kautukita in the vernacular or in some other context can also mean, what is that, some kind of a curiosity. Kutuhala, kautuhala, like this. But here it doesn't mean curiosity. Yeah, sense of awe and wonder. Why the sense of wonder? Because how can a suffering jiva actually be Ishvara? That is the wonder. How did this jiva, quote unquote, become Ishvara? And the answer is, jiva did not become Ishvara, jiva was always Ishvara. Then the next wonder is, how come the jiva who is always Ishvara does not know? That is another wonder. How come there is ignorance? Where did this ignorance come from? I didn't sign up for this ignorance. I didn't say I want to be self-ignorant. But then how come this ignorance is there? That's another wonder. And because of this ignorance, anadi, from time immemorial, this ignorance is there. Then if this ignorance is there without a beginning, anadi means no beginning. And if this ignorance does not have a beginning, that means OMG, maybe it doesn't even have an end. No, but it has an end. That's a wonder. How come that which doesn't have a beginning has an end? It's a wonder. And if I am identified with self-ignorance, how does it go? How does it go? Just by Shravanam it will go? How is that possible for it to go just by Shravanam? Not possible at all. But then that's what it feels. So it's a great wonder when finally it has gone. Finally, it has totally gone. It is not there. And that too is a wonder. And how has it gone? By listening to the teachings, by exposing oneself to the teaching. A committed, dedicated connection to the teaching. And as a result of that, it's gone. It's a wonder. Where did it go? How did it go? And then after it's gone, the wonder is also this. How did I think myself to be the body? How did I get annoyed for small things? That's also a wonder. How come this is not affecting me right now? Whereas 2 years before, 2 months before, whatever you want to put it, whatever time frame, I used to be livid at this kind of a situation, but I am not. That itself is a wonder. Perhaps the greatest wonder of all, even the Bhagavad Gita talks about this, is that even after listening, one doesn't know. That's why Vedanta is the best kept secret in the whole world. Best kept secret. Right there. And nobody knows. Even though it's right there, and then even if it's taught, people don't know. Shrutva api na veda kaschit. This is a ascharya. Ascharya means wonder. Ascharyavat pashyati kashchidenam. Some look upon this knowledge of oneness as a wonder. Ascharyavat vadati kechi danyaha. Certain others discuss with their friends all about this knowledge, which is a wonder. And then the greatest wonder, some people listen to it with wonder, but the greatest wonder is Shrutva api, even though they have heard it, they still don't follow. That's the greatest wonder. That is why the Upanishads have remained safe, even though we were colonized by all kinds of entities. Alexander not so great to not so great Britain. Okay? Everybody came. And they saw, they remained, they conquered, they went. They could not conquer the Upanishad. They could not. When there are accounts that when this first what were they called at that time? Governor General. So this Clive, there was one called Clive. Yeah. So when this Clive came to India, they tried to see, what is this? What are these Upanishads? Let us look. Let us try. Let's get them translated. Let's look at them, let's understand them. And it is said he commissioned one officer to go and study with a Pandit in Bengal. Find out what is it. Oh, you just have to study it. Oh, all right, I'll send somebody, go study. And so this hot and bothered means they have come from a temperate climate, poor things, all of them. And here they are frying, rather getting poached in the heat in Bengal. And so he finally found some Panditji who was ready to teach. Quick, teach me. All right. Panditji was a Shukla Yajurvedi. So the opening mantra of the Shukla Yajurveda is what? Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Purnamadav Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. This is how it is chanted in the north. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. What is that? What does it mean? That is whole. Okay? He wrote it down. This is whole. When you take away the whole from the whole, what remains is a big hole in the head. That's what remains. And so the officer wrote, the Upanishads are the prattlings of an infantile mind. This was his report, because he couldn't bear to go on. I mean, even the Shanti mantra he could not understand. And so what to talk about any other, what to talk of Ishavasya Upanishad or anything in the Veda. And so he wrote his report. He had done his job. He was asked to go find out what it is all about. Dismissed it as the prattlings of an infantile mind. And somebody asked me, did you feel outraged and offended that the British said that? I said, no, not at all. I felt wonderful because this is how the knowledge was safe. They didn't burn down libraries, they didn't destroy the Upanishads, because they said, oh, this is a child's toy. Who will destroy the toy of a child? In this way, the Upanishad is always a wonder, because it has in itself, the mechanism of safekeeping. Even though, as teachers, we are told, please do not give this knowledge to those who do not qualify. I mean, in some ways, the advice is redundant because it doesn't ever go in the wrong hands, in the wrong head. It doesn't go. Because if the head is wrong, it just doesn't enter. Simple. Or it will be, thought to be something else. Something to, chant for Abhisheka. Fine, theek hai. That's okay. But the finer nuances and the grand vision of it is not understood at all by those, because it is so qualification heavy. We've been discussing the qualifications, and so it is extremely qualification heavy. It is all upon the student, and the student has to prepare themselves. The students have to prepare themselves to receive this knowledge, and if the preparation is not there, the knowledge cannot, does not, and will not come. Absolutely will not come. And therefore, this is exactly why it cannot sit in the head, and this is why it is a samajayata. That's why Totaka said, my heart is filled with a sense of wonder. And because I look upon you as Ishvara, and I look upon the transmission of knowledge as a source of wonder, that I get it is a source of wonder. And then how come people don't get it is another source of wonder. It's a constant wonder. How does this as though ignorance get transformed by as though knowledge? All this is a series of wonders. And then he says, Mama, for me, mine, Varaya. Varaya means ward off. Please ward off for me my Moha Mahajaladhim. Moha Mahajaladhim. Moha, delusion. Maha, big. Jaladhim, ocean. A huge body of water. Please ward off this great ocean of delusion, which is nothing but samsara. Ocean of delusion means what? That one has a sinking feeling. That's what it means. There is a terrible sinking feeling. I'm drowning, I'm drowning. It's always in the present continuous. Because if one has already drowned, the story is over. Okay, maybe you can talk about the next life. But no, it's always glub, glub, glub. Coming up for air. Suddenly things are a lot better. And then going under again for some time. This is a lifelong torture. A life of total torture and discomfort. In between there is a little glimpse of, some kind of the clouds clearing, a little glimpse of clarity, a little glimpse of possibility, a little glimpse of awareness when I'm identifying with that Sakshi. Some desires accidentally get fulfilled and there is a little glimmer of hope. And then after that, glub, glub, glub again. Why is it called the ocean? Because it's made up of eons of salty tears of jiva. Drop after drop after drop. Every jiva has silently cried a personal ocean full of tears. That's why it's ocean. And then that ocean becomes the breeding ground for all kinds of various things. The amoeba of doubt. And what happens to the amoeba of doubt? It splits into two. First there was one doubt. And now there are two doubts. And after that there are 4 doubts. After that there are 16 doubts. 64 doubts. Like this it keeps on multiplying. Doubts. fears, sorrow, and mistakes, mistaken notions about the self, about other jivas, about Bhagavan, and and mistaken notions about the Jagat, of course. All these constitute samsara. And then the doubts, after a while, you look at them, they have developed fins and they are swimming. They have become fish. How come in this ocean of samsara? How come they are fish? Fishy, that's why. And then they develop legs, they become stronger. They migrate onto land. This is the story of the evolution of samsara. That's what it is. Then, after that, what happens? They develop wings, they become raptors, they fly. So this is how all the doubts, the fears, self-loath, self-judgment, self-critique, this is what constitutes samsara. And that is what is called the ocean of great delusion, a great delusion ocean. And because, you see, the knowledge is not, is basically, as we discussed, the removal of wrong notions attached to the I. That is what self-knowledge is. I don't know myself, part A of ignorance. And then what is part B? Therefore, I take myself to be something other than I am. And all the things that one takes oneself to be is completely, totally far away from what one is. Wrong notions. All kinds of notions fill the head. And those notions appear to be extremely real. That is the problem with these notions. That's why the notion becomes an ocean, because it is taken to be real. I am this body. It absolutely seems as real. I am this body. I am this mind. I am the senses. I am as much as I have. Sometimes it's negatively defined. I am as what all I don't have. I am not good enough, not worthy enough, not famous enough, not rich enough. Like this. I don't have, I'm not clever enough. So one defines oneself by what one doesn't have. And this is all the ways in which the delusion manifests. Delusion means wrong thinking. And the wrong thinking about the self, about the I, goes on to just propagate wrong thoughts about others. Because I see myself so wrongly, I see the other person also very, very wrongly. I don't see myself as Brahman, as Ishvara, so how can I see another as Ishvara? In fact, the other person doesn't appear like Ishvara at all, never ever. The other person is even more finite, even more annoying than I myself am. This is what it is. There is an excellent text in the tradition called Dosha Parihara Ashtakam, an octet for the removal of fault finding. It's an excellent text, very, very nice. And we studied it some time ago, and there, the author has a very nice satire on this whole fault-finding business. And so this fault-finding comes because one is unable to accept oneself. Since there is no self-acceptance, when I look at another person, I see only the wrong things. See only wrong. And this is, you are not good enough. You are not kind enough. You are not compassionate enough. You are not big enough. You are not generous enough. You are not smiling enough. You're not kind enough. This is what one, from as soon as the day starts, this not enough centered on the I and the not enough centered on the other starts. This has to be reversed immediately for any kind of change to take place. So this fault finding comes from not being able to stand oneself. Unfortunately, that's what it is. It's not that somebody is hypercritical of somebody else. One is hypercritical of oneself, and that is powerfully projected outwards in many people to a greater or lesser degree, in most people. And then in some places, what happens? It is projected inwards, and one is in the doldrums. I am not enough. Other people are wonderful. I am an idiot. So that is also another manifestation of this moha mahajaladhi. And so this is the problem. And so nobody or nothing suffices. Then you look at the Jagat, and the fault-finding mission keeps on taking place when you look at the Jagat. Nothing is okay. Other jivas, no one is okay. No one is good enough. No one will be good enough. And when you look at the Jagat, no aspect of creation is okay. I've shared this story before. Once I went on a hike and I was in the mountains. This was somewhere in California. And when you went, it was a 2-hour hike, 2.5 hours. And then when you went up, you positioned yourself, you timed yourself so that you could catch the sunset. The sun setting in the Pacific. So nice. And I was just sitting there, and then one family came. All of them had very sour faces, long faces. 2 teenage boys, wholly disinterested in this. And the father was wishing himself elsewhere. And it was very clear to see that it was the lady's initiative, the mother's initiative. Come on, only a little while left. I could hear them say this behind me. They were coming up the last bend in this hill. Come on, guys. We can do it. Let's go. Groaning, grunting, they came up. And then the boys were just in their own worlds and sullen because they, probably because they could not even get a cell phone signal there, and they could not play their games or whatever they were used to doing. And the husband was just so upset. And she said, "Honey, isn't this wonderful?" In the way to, pep him up. And look, and it was indeed a wonderful sight. The breeze was just right. The sun was just the right color setting into the ocean. Everything was just perfect. And he said, nah, it could have been better. It could have done better. It meaning Bhagavan, because Bhagavan is responsible for the sunset. That's exactly what he said, and she gave up. She said, okay, no point in trying to pump enthusiasm where there is none. So this is what it is. So this kind of a ocean of delusion makes one into a wet rag of disappointment, always. Terribly disappointed with everything. The sunset could have been better. What was the name? The Big Sur, that is the name of the place. Yeah, very nice. And so, sunset could have definitely been better. Moonrise should have been better. And then what else? The flowers are okay, but they cause allergies. And one time somebody came to the ashram once, and they never came out of the room. So I went to do a welfare check because are you here? Are you alive? Are you okay? Yeah, everything is fine. Then why aren't you coming out? I don't like trees. I said, really? You don't like trees? I was shocked because first time I met somebody who did not like trees. Yeah, I hate trees. I said, what have they done to you? They're just there. In fact, the difficulties we feel with other people, you don't feel the same difficulties in nature, because nature is seen to be very benign. It doesn't talk back. It doesn't belittle you. It doesn't insult you. So even the hardened jivas, what should I say, fried in the oil of samsara, find some respite in trees, grass, flowers, nature. Flowers I don't like because they cause allergies. Grasses are overrated. And I hate trees. This is actual. Yes. And people think I simply sit here and make stuff up. Yeah. Sometimes I do. But this is not one of the occasions. So, what is this? I don't like trees. And she changed her flight and went early. And the reason was, I did not know there would be so many trees at the ashram. I did not know. I did not expect. What she expected, I don't know. And so this is what it is. Some kind of an orientation where one is unable to relax. One is always on guard, or one feels pressured to have an emotion. Some negative emotion. Hopelessness. Dislike. Dislike means disenchantment. Hopelessness. Where the heart is hardened to anything that can just touch you, that can move you. This is why it is called moha mahajaladhim. This kind of a great moha and great delusion. No priorities. And another meaning, moha mahajaladhim, means the priorities are always in samsara. Whatever pursuits are there in samsara, they shine very, very brightly. The possibility of knowing myself does not shine at all. That doesn't shine. The only thing that shines in samsara is this thing I want. I want a promotion. Nothing wrong, but it's just we're totally banking on that is what we are talking about. All my happiness is centered on getting this one thing, without which I'm going to be miserable. Not only that, I'm going to make you miserable. This is what this ocean is. And then, what is the problem with this? The problem with this is obvious, but then in addition, what happens is that such people become prey to flowery talk of so many people who are giving solutions. So as many problems there are, as many people appoint themselves to give solutions. Why don't you come to me? I will save you, says one. I will give you some breathing exercises, says another. You can breathe in the samsara, breathe in the moksha, breathe out samsara. And then, why don't you come to me, says another one. I will teach you how to get what you want, how to control people, how to mesmerize people. I will give you Vashikarana mantra. Vashikarana mantra means how to control people. There was one book, How to Influence People, something like that. Yeah. So it is kind of like that. So I'll give you a mantra to make people listen to you so that you can have a charismatic personality. I'll give you a mantra that shows you that you can have, lot of money, lot of this. This is what people fall prey to. People fall prey to guides and even gurus, who, self-appointed gurus, of course, so-called gurus, and self-appointed, what are they called? God men, God women. And what do? They just want to mislead, because that's what they believe in. Bhagavad Gita talks about this all the time. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadanti avipashchitah vedavadaratav partha nanyadasti iti vadinah kamatmanas swargaparaha janma karma phalapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya apahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhihi samadhau na vidhiyate. Yamimam pushpitam vacham, flowery talk, literally. Pravadanti, they keep touting. Who? Avipashchitah, the ones who do not know. And what do they say? They say, all that is there in the first part of the Veda alone applies. Don't look at the Upanishads, it's just a waste of time. Just fulfill your desires. That's all you want, that's all you need. Fulfill your desires. Na anyadasti, nothing else is left other than fulfilling your desires. And who are they? Kamatmanaha. Their whole being is nothing but desire. Swargaparaha, they are headed towards heaven and all other lokas. They are just coated in the coating of finitude. And for what purposes? To enjoy two things. Bhoga, any kind of conspicuous consumption. Aishwarya, overlordship, control, power. So they just want enjoyment and power. This is what they want. Most people in the world want that. And they all go as a beeline towards these kinds of life coaches, gurus, guides, and mentors who offer these time-bound delights of power, prestige, reputation, and then bhoga, some kind of enjoyment. And for these people, bhogaishwarya prasaktanam, for these people, who are these people? Taya apahrita chetasam, whose hearts have been hijacked by the finite pursuits. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika buddhi means the possibility of moksha as a, that is shining, as a real thing, does not even come into the picture. So this is why Arjuna is told in the Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana. Eka iha. There's only one pursuit here, and that pursuit is you, and gaining which everything is gained. It's not that when you have self-knowledge, you have to lose everything. In fact, everything is right there. Everything is gained. The priorities are correct, and you can have whatever you want if you have this first. Because the self being the self of everything, everything is as good as gained. And so focus on this, Arjuna is told. And then what happens if you don't focus on this? That also he is told. And that's exactly what is being summarized in this verse. What does it say? This is the Moha Mahajaladhim, where the pursuits, one gets into unclear pursuits, which are all, each one is a dead end. So you go down one road, dead end. You go down another road, dead end. Dead end, dead end, dead end. And one is left deadened. That's what it is. One is left totally dead, tired, hopeless, helpless. And what is the antidote? The antidote is Guru Sharanagati, as he says I look upon you as Ishvara, as the Ishvara that I want to see, that I want to be. This is what I see. Okay. So, He Bhavashankara, He Deshika, Me Sharanam. Next one. Sukrite dhikrite bahudha bhavato bhavita samadarshana lalasata atideenamimam paripalaya mam Bhavashankara deshika me sharanam Bhavashankara deshika me sharanam Sukrite Bahudha adhikrite bhavataha. This is the Anvaya. Sukrita means things, my good works that have been done by me. Sukritam. And then adhikrite means increased. Sati Saptami, locative absolute construction. So when the good deeds done by me increase in punya. How can the good deed done by me? See, if I do one good deed, I should get a little measure of punya, correct? But here it says, it will multiply. Why? Bahudha. Bahudha means by many, many fold. By many, many folds it will multiply. Why? Bhavataha anugrahat. Or bhavata you can take. Because of your blessings, your grace. How will it multiply? It's like having frequent flyer miles. So, sometimes what happens, you get a bonus. On certain days you fly. Sometimes it used to be there like that. Even now it might be there. That is a 25% bonus, 50% bonus miles. You apply for this, what is that called? Credit card. And then you get bonus miles. Just for applying. Like this, there are certain offers. So this sounds like that. So in serving you, in being your student, and the little seva that I am doing, of course I am getting a little bit of punya. And studying Vedanta gives a lot of punya because every minute spent in class, do you know you have been earning punya? So today is what, the eighth day. And 6 hours a day, 6 classes a day. Yeah. So how many hours is that? 48 hours of Vedanta study. 48 is a good number. It's a mandala. Yeah, it's a whole number of completion. 48 hours of Vedanta study. It's just, you can be rest assured that you have gained a lot of punya. So any kind of, fleeting regret you may have had because I don't think I quite understood. Don't worry, at least you got punya. Doesn't matter whether you understood or not. So much punya. And I told you how this punya encashes. One can mentally direct this punya to translate into obstacle-free and easier shravanam. One can make the sankalpa, one can make a request to Chitragupta. I want some coupons. What kind of coupons? Obstacle-free study, obstacle-free listening, obstacle-free imbibing. So let this punya translate to all kinds of delightful food, etc. when I am studying. You just, to everything you want you can ask, but then put when I am studying, at the end. Let me further the studies and let it be obstacle-free. And really, when you intend this, it's amazing. It just connects you more and more and more. It connects you. And indeed, the listening becomes obstacle-free. You get more and more opportunities to listen freely and nicely. And whatever needs to be done somehow gets done. Even if you don't do it, it gets done. Or sometimes the need for it to get done itself goes away. And somehow the way is opened up. So this is what he means. Sukrite adhikrite bahudha. Sukrite bahudha adhikrite. When the good punya, when the good works fructify and become manifold thanks to your kripa. And what is this kripa? Guru kripa it is called. 3 kinds of kripa are often talked about in the Shastra. One is Bhagavat kripa. And that we have already discussed. Bhagavat kripa translates into the 3 M's. Manushyatvam, Mumukshutvam, Mahapurusha, Samshraya. Human birth, and then the desire to seek freedom is born, and from there, what else? The taking recourse to a guru and studying with a guru, that also comes. Then, that is Bhagavat Kripa. Then Guru Kripa. What is this Guru Kripa? Guru Kripa is the same thing as Bhagavat Kripa, but then it is seen to be coming from the Guru in the sense that if you apply your mind and study very well, then there are more and more opportunities to study, more and more insights are gained. That is what it is. When you take this pursuit seriously, then more and more insights are gained. This is Guru Kripa. Then these 2 kripas, these 2 kinds of blessings do not work if the 3rd kripa is not present. The 3rd kripa is called Atma Kripa. Your own ability to bless yourself to study this. You have to bless yourself. You have to say, I deserve this. I am worthy of this. I hereby permit myself to receive this knowledge. And I bless myself. This Atma blessing. Atma here doesn't mean Atma. Atma means I. So the Ahankara has to permit this study. Otherwise you can have the best of gurus. And even Bhagavan can come and teach. But nothing goes in because a wall has been erected between the teaching and oneself. So and we also talk of the 4th kind of kripa, Shastra kripa, but it is the same as Guru kripa. Shastra kripa means that the text has to bless you. But if the Guru's blessing is there, the text will also bless. No problem. It's the seen as one and the same. Sometimes it is talked about as Shastra Kripa and Guru Kripa, 2 separate things. But it is not. So then, this is the idea. So this is how, because I have given myself the ability to study, I have blessed myself to study, I have opened myself up, and I am with the world's best guru. This is Totaka's thinking. And then so, underneath your tutelage, even if I bring you a small miserable glass of water, you are so happy, and your satisfaction and happiness makes my punya bigger, makes my seva appear to be bigger. See, if you do seva to anybody, just any person in the world, then chances are that they will complain. Why didn't you get that? And why didn't you bring this? Wasn't it there? It was there. Why didn't you bring this? Because last time you did not like it. Well, how did you know I won't like it this time? You should have got it. This is what happens often. It's never enough. And so even the punya you might get, the punya itself starts to feel shy and shrink. There is not an expansive feeling. But if you serve somebody who really doesn't, who really doesn't need anything, and then there is a certain satisfaction because they are not complaining, they are happy with whatever you give them, and they are okay. And so therefore, there is this feeling of expansion when you give to somebody who is not wanting anything for themselves. And this is what serving Adi Shankara must have been like. We can look at this verse and think about it. And so the punya expands, meaning the good deed that is done is so happy almost, it's a metaphor, that it just gives more and more dividends. And so this sukrita becomes adhikrita. It becomes more than one feels like one has done more than what one has done, because the Guru is a silent embodiment of contentment. And then what happens? So when this happens, because the Sati Saptami, the absolute locative construction, means it's a conditional construction. When this punya grows out of proportion and increases, then because of this punya, what happens? Bhavita will become what? Samadarshana lalasata. Lalasa, longing. Longing for samadarshana. Samadarshana is not equanimity here. So it means Brahman. And we'll see why, because right now we don't have the time, but next time we'll see why. So Bhavita Samadarshana Lalasata. The desire to know Brahman as myself is born. Bhavita will be born, actually, future. So Sukrite Adhikrite, when the good deeds done by me fruition and fructify earlier than expected, thanks to your grace and thanks to your fullness, you have blessed my good deeds also with a fullness, so that the desire to study, the desire for this knowledge of oneness, the longing is reached. The longing reaches a peak, and then that is when I can commence my studies. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Pusya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.